Hello, fellow humans. My name is Dorothy Laxton, and this is Fostering Untethered Communication and Knowledge, an adventure in stimulating objective, critical thought, shining the spotlight through individual spectacles, putting it once again on the bigger picture and our parts in it. Searching for life beyond the lifestyles we North American urban dwellers have to choose to chase, encouraging all to participate in positive change. Hello, fellow humans. I am here reviewing a backlog of recordings. I think I have 3 waiting to be pieced together, and one that is almost done. Here's one for you. So I'm watching a video which is called How to Be a Woke White Person. Now this is a commentary on a comedian. It's a commentary by a YouTuber named Doc Rich. I cannot remember the name of the comedian right now. I have to comment on this, and I figure I'll do it to my voice recorder and not just to the walls. How does it make any sense whatsoever to teach young white people that they're racists? Think about childhood developmental psychology. Between 0 and 12. Okay, there's a reason why the Young Offenders Act in Canada is 12 years old, right? There's something about that age. And, like 10 to 14 is like a shift in our perception. And before that age and that period of time is very surreal. If anybody actually goes back and, had any kind of a natural perverted, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. I was fortunate. I spent a lot of time just with myself through those years and got to know me. There's too much white noise out there. There's too much input. Anyway, back to, I just don't understand how it makes any sense to teach young children that they are inherently racist. Why not teach them that they're human beings and we all are human beings? The logic in the way certain ideologies are being applied to education, especially that of young minds, is so the absolute opposite of what should be done. It makes no sense to convince, such a large portion of the population of the world that they're inherently evil, basically. And everybody else is their victims, and they have to, sit back and do nothing but accuse one another and make one another feel like horrible people. And we're talking about telling this to, like 6-year-olds that don't even know what an identity is. And you're basically giving them the identity of being evil. That's the problem with critical race theory. Sorry, guys. Had to say it. This is really touchy stuff, and I am not at all minimizing what racism became due to slavery. However, it is really important at this point in history to point out that slavery has been a part of humanity as long as civilization has existed. One of my more recent blogs, BLAHGS, it's one of my art forms. Check out my Instagram, you'll see lots of them there. You see lots of them in my videos, actually. Little shameless self-promotion there. I will not deny that there is systemic racism and issues between whites and blacks. That really is a product of something that people don't seem to want to acknowledge. White-dominated Western culture is the first culture to ever try to abolish slavery. We haven't really abolished slavery, we've just transformed it into a monetized economy where we're all employees instead of slaves. Maybe that isn't, I was going to say that's a different topic of conversation, but it isn't. And the way that we're using this race theory is just a way to, for the system to create the kind of division that is going to literally enslave the majority of the people of the planet. To think that all white people in this system have been treated equally is beyond irresponsible, really. Take the Irish. There are facts about the North Atlantic slave trade that people do not want, and it's apparently really offensive to acknowledge. If we don't acknowledge the whole story, how do we learn how to get out of the traps that we fall in? One of those traps is refusing to acknowledge all of the truths, even the ones we don't like the fact that the North Atlantic slave trade probably wouldn't have happened had Europeans not landed in Africa to trade, and they were offered black slaves. They incidentally traded white slaves to Africans as well. These are actual historical facts. I probably should have been a responsible person and had some of those at the ready for this. But they're pretty easy to find. Or they were. It's hard to tell anymore. There are lots of things that I'm finding I can't find anymore, which is very disturbing. You know, this whole thing about misinformation, we really don't think very much of ourselves and our capabilities to process information, do we? We have literally been marketed into unenlightenment. And yeah, it's marketing. I learned, unfortunately, while I was studying business management and I was taking a course in international business law, that all media, now pretty much in North America, but in the United States of America, at the time that I was studying, all media legally is treated as entertainment. All media. That is your TV programs, news, art, everything is entertainment. That's the way it's framed. That's the way it's treated. Your news has been treated as entertainment for at least 25 years. In Canada. When did NAFTA go through? I wrote a paper on it. Maybe I'll dig it up one day and just read it. Convincing such a large portion of the population of the world that they are horrible, inherent racists that need to spend their time shaming one another for that. I just don't see the logic in it. I don't get the logic in that kind of an approach, and particularly feeding that into young minds is, again, you reap what you sow. Just some thoughts. Thanks for listening. Narrative bullshit. It's propaganda.